Who saw the movie The Matrix? Okay, okay, good. Then we can start from a point of reference. Matrix was a banging movie to me, and the reason why I appreciated it so much was because, do you remember at the end when Neo realized his potential? He started to see the binary code. You remember that, the whole world? Well, that's where I'm trying to be spiritually. I'm trying to see the word of God in the whole world. So every time that agent throws a punch, I'm like, I see you. Oh, okay. I'm just catching his punches. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because I'm starting to see that. Things are just, situations materialize themselves, and oh, he's an agent. But here's the trick. Here's the trick. Here's the trick is that you have to remember that sometimes you can be an agent. You can be an agent to yourself. You can be an agent against someone else and not even realize that you're being used, That's the Matrix.
Do you understand that there's 3 worlds we're living in simultaneously right now? The internet is a world in a matrix of its own. The internet is a matrix of its own. This internet is a matrix. You have a profile, you have an IP address, you have different dimensions of the internet you can tap into. It's a world. It is a matrix. The internet is a matrix. And so, once you log into the matrix, as you logged into this reality of the internet, you log in, you go online. Same thing with this life. You came online, but you're in a dimension of your own mind that is called Babylon, which is your lowest self. You're logged into this reality. Simultaneously, there's a natural world right in front of you. That natural world existed before Babylon tore it down and put their world on it.
As much as we know that the folks at IRS have a thankless job because they have to go and tell their fellow Americans that they may be audited or they have to do this work understaffed, we have to maintain the confidence in the system because it's a voluntary system of payment of our taxes.
Agreed.
Why is no one talking about how Texas just declared a national state of emergency because of the massive influx of immigrants that just crossed over the Texas border? Why is no one talking about how the massive influx of these Venezuelans middle-aged men are protected through the Biden administration and allowed to work and even serve in the military? If I'm not mistaken, didn't the governors just come forward and say that there was a literal epidemic of immigrants in the USA to the point where it's breaking down the budget and there's a crisis in NYC where they're sleeping in the police station? When asked what was going to be done about this, the Biden administration came forward and said, hey, we're giving temporary protective status over 472,000 Venezuelans. Why? That is 40% of the immigrants that are in NYC of the 600,000 that have just came in since July 31st. And why are all of these people middle-aged men? Can we talk about that?
Country, they are predominantly single adult men filing into the country. A lot of them waving to our cameras, chanting Venezuela. You can hear a boat going by me right now. That is a Border Patrol boat. These boats have had minimal impact. The Mexican military has been deployed on the Mexican side of the river. That did not stop this mass illegal crossing from taking place. It was nonstop for 2 hours, guys. These images.
One thing about it is when people go to war, the wife and the family stay back. So my question is, Biden, what is the real plan here? As an American who is going through food shortages, we are going through the beginning of another pandemic. We have trouble finding jobs, childcare, adequate health insurance. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the plan is. I'm all for helping refugees in need. I'm all for assisting aid and getting people to better situations, home of the brave, land of the free. But there is something ironically weird here with all of these middle-aged men coming into the US and you giving them protected status. Where are the women? Where are the children? Where are they? It looks like Biden said, if you guys aren't going to go to war, Americans, middle-aged men, we're going to find some people that do. I don't know what is coming in 2024, but this whole thing is sketchy AF and I'm not standing with it.
And tell me what it looks like. Honest opinion, guys. Tell me, we're in Mexico and I found this piece here. Tell me what it looks like or where it's from, okay? I won't say anything, but tell me what it looks like. Permiso, ¿por qué la gente dicen negro? Why did we call it negro? This is the name of the piece, is called negro.
Pues prácticamente por sus rasgos negroides, ¿no? Que tiene su labio grueso, pómulos así prominentes, ¿no? La forma también así del cabello.
Right.
Así es.
Wow.
All I want to say is, I love the Mexicans out there. I love the Mexican tribe. Out of all the 12 tribes of Israel, the Mexicans are my #1 favorite. Y'all are the most beautiful, creative. Y'all don't take no BS. Like, I respect y'all at a high level. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with most of y'all, learned from most of y'all, and y'all literally the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life. You know, so I love y'all. For real.
Yeah, watch how sneaky this non-melanated dude is, and then I'm gonna come back and speak on it.
Only the foundational Black Americans should participate in the hypothetical reparations.
Primarily, damn right. What you talking about?
Okay.
What do you?
Yeah,
well, no. Oh, wait. Are you saying as far as who has to get paid or paid back?
He feels like the foundational Black Americans are the only people who should be getting reparations, if there ever are reparations.
Well, I'll say the first thing is anyone who was dealt an injustice by the United States government where it was calculated and it was intentional should receive their just due. However, we just so happen to be the #1.
So, watch that clip. This dude, I've watched this dude speak on Tariq Nasheed. I didn't see the interview with Tariq Nasheed, but I saw the interview that he did with foreigners speaking about this. And now I'm seeing him with Riza Islam. And I went to school predominantly white. I also went to school with all Black, and I went to mixed schools. But I'm very aware of how they operate. And all he's doing right now is gathering information about this movement that we have, FBA, OBA. And he's gauging how deep this rabbit hole goes. He's gauging how unified are we behind it? What is it really about? Who's with it? Who's not? And he's just assessing. So be mindful and be careful, because now they're paying attention and now they're trying to figure shit out. Watch.
Somebody done leaked Google salaries, and it's giving racism and possible cover-up. Now, before we get into it, you already know that the Googlies make more money than the average worker in the United States. But even in that tax bracket, Black, Indigenous, and Hispanic folks are still making less than white people doing the same job. Are we surprised, though? Let's roll the tape. Black staff at Google tend to make $20,000 less in base salary than their white coworkers, with $147,000 going to Black workers and $170,000 going to white folks. And it's not just base salary. White folks got about $40,000 more in equity and $6,000 more in bonuses in 2022. The leak also showed that women were averaging less than men in every single role except direct sales. Direct sales. Okay, now follow me. In 2019, Google told us that their own study, which they purport to do annually, uncovered that men were being paid less than women doing similar work and proceeded to give the fellas a pay raise. Same article, the New York Times reported that Google denied paying women less, but the leak says otherwise. And it got me curious. Were any of the men who got a raise in 2019 in direct sales? Because in most cases, a direct sales job earned a base salary and performance commission. So does that mean y'all were giving raises to men who were being outperformed by women using, dare I say, a patriarchal application of affirmative action and calling it equity? I am done.
They recalling all of them. They just found 2% human DNA in hot dog. I won't be eating.
I need you guys to understand the emotional roller coaster I just went through for the past 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Get so close right now. I read the article, and it is true, right? About 2% of hot dogs contain human DNA. So I was like, you know what? I eat vegetarian dogs anyway, so it's all good. Until I read deeper into the article, it turns out an overwhelming amount of those hot dogs were in fact vegetarian dogs. That's awesome. So I was like, hey, you know what? I guess I'll just stop eating hot dogs starting now. I'm like, when was the article written? Like a couple of days ago? Get closer. That article was written 7 years ago. It's still prevalent now, meaning that it's already too late. At this point, I don't even know how much human DNA that I have accidentally consumed. Does that make sense? I don't know I have no idea what to do right now. I've been drinking water for the past like 10 minutes because that is my like default go-to right now.
You learn something new every single day, and this is one of them days where I kind of wish I didn't learn this. However, as it pertains to Obama, someone should be covering the story with Ben Shapiro.
Well, folks, what if I told you that there was a biographer of Barack Obama who uncovered a bunch of bombshells about him years ago, and the media just ignored all those bombshells? Well, that's precisely what happened. There's a massively important interview over at Tablet Magazine, which is a great website that's worth the read. They did an interview with a historian named David Garrow, who wrote a Pulitzer Prize-winning biography of Martin Luther King. And then in 2017, he had a biography of Barack Obama in his early years, and it was called Rising Stars.
Mm-hmm.
By all rights, it should have been like a massive hit, this book, because it actually uncovered a bunch of stuff about Obama that the media never would have covered. Like, for example, the fact that in Dreams from My Father, which is almost entirely fictionalized, apparently, according to David Garrow, that when Barack Obama wrote his first memoir, Dreams from My Father, he has an incident where he broke up with a white girlfriend, supposedly because she couldn't understand why he wanted to get in touch with his black identity. And what actually happened is that she broke up with him because he was covering for raving black anti-Semites.
Oh, wow.
That's what David Garrow uncovered. Media never checked into it. They never found the girlfriend. They never dug into anything remotely related to Barack Obama. By the way, other revelations included in this book were actual handwritten letters from Barack Obama to one of his girlfriends talking about his, and this is a direct quote, repeatedly fantasizing about making love to men. I mean, that's pretty bombshell kind of stuff, no? I mean, pretty wild and salacious. None of it received virtually any coverage at the time. But why? And the answer is because the media, when Barack Obama rose to the presidency, and as he made that rise, the media decided that they were now the actual Praetorian Guard. They were always biased to the left, but there's certainly a level of baseline honesty that required them to still report on things. And then Barack Obama rose to the level of the presidency, and every institution was weaponized on behalf of this man personally. That's actually what happened. The entire comedic institutional structure, for example, said it is forbidden to make jokes about Obama. You cannot make jokes about this absolute...
Hey, is that Dad? Can I talk to him? Hi, Dad.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
We did a parachute drill today. You put a parachute on your back, and I swear, my swim is like 100 times faster.
That's great.
Are you coming home?
Yeah, soon.
I just want you to come home.
I share it to you. Yeah, I ran out of juice. Listen, there's a flight.
Manchester. It leaves in about an hour.
Clay, you've been gone for over a year. I love you, but it's not that simple.
I'd like to see my son. I need more money. everybody? What the hell's happening? I don't know. Turn your stuff off. What? They did.
Right here. This is how you take over people. This, if you want to know how to take over somebody, this is what you do. You convince them that their God is the devil. And then you convince them that their devil is their God. Because that's what they did to your ass. See, they got you scared of your own self. It's called dogma. D-O-G-M-A. Go to Google, look it up, and come back. They got you believing dogma. Dogma is basically, it's to program your ass. Appreciate that. Peace and love. It's to program your ass to something that they want you to know. They don't want you to know. Why you think in the Bible it says that he is a jealous guy and he don't want nobody before him? Because he don't want you before him. Because if you find out that you more powerful than him, then you don't have to pray to him. You don't have to worship him no more. Why do you think he's a jealous God? Who is he jealous of? Oh, he's jealous of you. You want to know what the beast and the great dragon is, family? I'm finna show you right now. I'm finna show you what the beast is, family. I'm finna show you the beast that I want you to unlock from yourself. I'm finna show you the beast. This is the beast they don't want you to unlock, fam. Amaruka Tiamat, the great mother. See, the Mayans believed when they was in Mexico, the Aztecs, they believed that their great mother was a feathered serpent. The feathered serpent is a dragon, which is the Kundalini energy, aka the goddess, because the Kundalini energy is feminine energy. Just like when you are in that, when you're in that uterus, and when you become that fetus, you start off as a female. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You start off as a female, then you might either stay a female or you gonna become that masculine energy. Facts. Because the goddess was here first. The water was here first.
What do you think of when you take a look at these pavilions and bandstands from the old world? Do you really think they were just gathering places for singing and dancing? Or is there something more to them? Just look at this electrical graph, showing the volts the higher up the antenna goes. As we know with the ether above, the higher up above you go, the higher of a charge you can get. And maybe that's why you see so much of these obnoxiously long antennas, so much of those Antiquitech towers on top. Perhaps these were natural charging points. No, I'm not referring to your electric cars, but for yourself. We've seen much on this channel of the benefits of the ether, both for electricity and for your own self. I mean, just look how impressive some of these look. They are really over the top for just gazebos or bandstands or gathering points. And look at these little metal cages. Certainly seems like a nice place to get a charge at. For the NPCs that live in my comment section, allowing me to live rent-free in your head, this is just my opinion, pointing out my observations. I don't need to hear how this doesn't follow your programming. Like you never see anyone overweight in these pictures. You never see anyone eating in any of these pictures. Perhaps these events were far less common back then, in that energized time. I can never get over some of the poses you see these people in. They're just standing, staring off into space in this one. Let me know what you think of these pavilions in the comments. Question everything, friends.
Say, kill him off and nobody know. So they killed these people off and took their shit. But it was a modified stuff, and the reason why they had to kill the people off, because the people was like, wait a minute, that's modified. You got some controlling stuff there. We got the true stuff over here, and that's what this stuff here is that they found in 1945 in Egypt. All of it has an Egyptian origin. That's, but it's interesting they found this same stuff in Egypt in 1945. So meanwhile, they killed these.
Dead Sea Scrolls you talking about?
No, this is called the Nag Hammadi Library of the Gnostic Texts.
Are those texts different from?
Yeah, the Dead Sea Scroll was found in 1948. This was found in 1945. This is more advanced than the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's more of it. It's more advanced than the Dead Sea Scrolls. We talking about some shit that they can give you 1,000,000 years worth of history in about 4 or 5 pages. That's how advanced it is. We talking about each line of the damn text might scan 100 years within a fucking sentence or two. That's how advanced it is. That's the pharaonic thought I'm talking about. That you couldn't get from the Book of the Dead, but once they translated into Coptic, we get this, what they were really talking about. And that's when this subordinate deity comes up. But anyway, they bring out this whole Roman thing, and all of a sudden, they got an instrument that they can dominate the world with. Because they have, Paul and them have gone in and tailored the shit, that it can be used both ways. But Paul and them, the one that they did, it was close to the original, till they had to do the Conference of Nicaea and 8 other conferences to modify it. You see what I'm saying? To modify it.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about, what is the difference between, you asked the question, what would be the difference between the modern day Christian model and the ancient model?
Right.
The Christian model, the modern day Christian model, was tailored to take advanced concepts that goes on the inner workings of the body and make them literal. So they say sublime mythology makes grotesque history. So one thing they did to make it literal, they historicalized everything. And none of that shit was historical. There was never Jesus over in the what you call it. I want to ask you a question. Now let's look at this. You a black Hebrew. You ought to know where the hell a damn black man came and taught amongst your ass. Why is it that you can't find no black Hebrew or no modern day white Jew to bear witness to the Jesus thing? You would figure if a person gonna give you the Messiah, that's something hell to take. Everybody talk about a Jewish Messiah, but yet you can't find no Jew to bear witness to that.
That's true. What is that?
Because the Jew knew, like all the other ancient people in the world. See, the Jew knew that first of all, that was some Roman propaganda of the Hebrew. He knew, just like the Egyptian knew, just like the Greek knew, just like the Mesopotamian knew, like the Babylonian knew, like the ancient African knew, that the Christ that is to come can only come one time in history. First of all, there's 2 things. First of all, Christ is a title. And we all are the living Christ, because Christ is the level we can rise to. But the Christ, the true Christ, that is supposed to be the end all and be all, he can only come one time in history. And that's at the end of the world. Now I'll tell you why I know this. Because I done studied alchemy to know this. And you can quote me on this. When the true manifestation of Christ comes, the physical earth would cease to be. For the mere fact that we got a physical earth, whatever teachers or whatever couldn't have been the true Christ. The Hebrews knew this. The Hebrews said, wait a minute, hold on. We get our origin in Egypt. And the Egyptians knew like everything else. Horus comes. And Horus comes to kill.
To kill?
To kill.
Well, Horus comes to kill.
Kill. The true Christ never taught love. That's some Roman bullshit to keep a people docile. All you gotta do is just take my word for it. You go and study you can go to Greek and study Hercules. That's the Greek Horus. Or Apollo. But you can study Horus or Heru. You can find out something about Heru. I'm gonna tell you what this is. You won't find no text in Egypt where Heru is talking about love. Heru does one thing and one thing only.
Avenge his father.
He kicks ass. That's all he does. He kills motherfuckers. That's it. That's what he does. The Greek version is Hercules, which is the same story because he don't do but one thing. From the time he born till the time he die, he kills everything in sight. Cleaning house. So the Hebrews knew. They knew that when they was talking about a person coming by talking about all this love and all this kind of thing,
Y'all seen this right here? These dudes in Chicago, they find an actual underground fallout shelter. It's like a whole city. It's got a bank. It's got everything. Watch this. Blows your mind. Like, no joke.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erin Kimura. I'm a fifth-generation Chinese and Japanese American and a fifth-generation San Franciscan. I'm here today to fully support Black reparations because this is the bare-ass minimum. Period. The bare-ass minimum. History is enough of a reason. The dehumanization that we've seen is enough of a reason for why we need redress and reparations now. This is not an impossible reality, right? We've seen this with the Japanese Americans in the late 1980s. They received, on a federal level, reparations. And the fact that Black folks and our Black community and our brothers and sisters are still waiting for a formal apology, ooh-wee. I'm just gonna leave that there just to simmer. And I just really wanna note, especially as an Asian American woman, I would not be here if it were not for the Black liberation struggle, the Black freedom fighters, culture creators, and the world builders that have fought for my liberation. So.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
We all understand that each and every one of us is half man and half woman. And out of this, our ancestors paid homage to this. You have Set, who is known to be the mother of the human family, the wife of the male creator, Asar. Other entities like Ma'at, it was she, the righteous path, that brought things into existence with order and arrangement. And it was her husband, Tehuti, the ibis bird, that would be the wisdom and knowledge. So the way in which our ancestors put it through scientific means and through spiritual means is that in order to be on the right path, you have to have the wisdom to be on the path. But in order to have wisdom, you must be on the path. So in a sense, these are complements to each other. They are husband and wife. And when men do what they're supposed to do, women can do what they're supposed to do. But there are responsibilities as men and women that we have. And women have awesome responsibility. And it is not until the righteousness and the balance and the harmony comes back in the cosmos and on the earth, the relationships between men and women become balanced again. Not to put her on a pedestal, not to put her in front of us or behind us, under us. She belongs beside us. Her role is very important as it relates to bringing the world back to where it should be. And when you go back to African traditional societies, you can see that balance. You can see the respect and the honor that women are given. You also recognize the difference between men and women. There is a difference. But that difference does not mean better or worse, superior or inferior. There is just a difference because in order for life to continue, there has to be a difference between the genders, because when we are in unity, we are actually the original creator God of all. And out of that, we create other little gods who are our children.
Godzilla versus Kong. Kong throw the goddamn spear right at the sun. Whole fucking sky shattered. They only show you the King Kong to show you that your ass is in that same cage Kong is in. Right now. You looking up, you think that's a sky. That is not a sky. This is an electrical gel made for your soul and spirit. You got 5, 6 different levels of sky above your head. That's CGI technology.
They say shoes are made to fit the shape of our foot. But guess what? They're lying. Whether our feet are narrow or wide, those fancy shoes with their pointy fronts squish our tiny toes together. As we grow, our feet get all squished and bent out of shape, and that's not how we were born. See, here's the thing, getting bigger shoes doesn't fix the problem because they're still pointy in the front. The only way to let our feet grow like they should is by wearing shoes that look more like our feet. Can you see how different it is? It's time to think about what we put on our little feet.